you're trying to set up your first art fair booth, I'm sure you're quickly realizing just how expensive everything is. I know for me, when I started doing this about 10 years ago, I didn't have much money and I was really confused about what to get because I didn't want to waste my money on something cheap when I would need probably to buy the more expensive version later if it worked better. But I also didn't have thousands of dollars to drop on an art booth setup at my first show if I didn't know I was going to be able to sell anything. And I'm figuring you might be in a similar situation. And that's why I wanted to do this video. I wanted to share with you some of the products that I found on Amazon. They are very affordable and they all work well for doing art fairs. So you won't make the mistake of saving money and then getting a bad product. First things first, every artist who's doing art fairs outdoors needs an art fair tent. And the cheapest type of tent is a pop-up tent. Now there are varying ranges of quality levels of these tents. Some of them don't come with outside walls that will protect your art from rain. Some are just the top only. You definitely don't want to get one of those. You want to get a tent that is waterproof or water resistant. Now some of these can be very expensive, like into the thousands of dollars. I would suggest to go with this tent by ABC Canopy though, because it's very affordable, water resistant. It's made out of sturdy materials. It doesn't have any holes or anything in the roof, and the roof stretches very tightly when you set it up. And why this is important is that you want the top of your tent to stretch tightly, because if, for example, you get a lot of rain in there and it sort of billows down, the rain will collect. And then every once in a while you'll have to push the rain out and it'll fall everywhere. And if you don't push it out, it might get so heavy that it'll just like crack the seams of the top of the tent and then your whole booth will fill with rain. I know about this from personal experience, but this tent that I'm recommending does not have these problems. And I've linked it and everything else that I discuss in this video in the description. Next, you're gonna need some weight bags to put on that tent when you're using it because you don't want the tent to fly off and hit somebody or hit your neighbor's booth or just ruin everything you have hanging on the walls if it's not properly weighted down. And I would suggest at minimum to have 20 pounds on each leg, but it's better if you can have 40 pounds. Now these weight bags I've used from Easy Up for years. I love them. They perform really well, but they don't make these weight bags anymore. Instead, there is a new upgraded version, which is better because instead of a Velcro fastener like mine has to go around the poles, these have buckles. They also have zippers on them, so you can easily open and close and add more filler to the bags. And what I did for mine is I just added little small gravel to them that I got at Lowe's. They sell it in bags, but if you don't want to pay for the bagged gravel, you can also just go out to a gravel road or maybe to a lake and put sand in them. There may be bugs in it if you get it from outdoors, so that's just something to consider, but it is the very cheap or free way to do it. Next, it's a good idea to have some kind of a rolling cart to transport your items from your van or truck or SUV, whatever you're bringing everything to the art fair in, to your art fair booth. Some places will allow you to pull up right next to your booth to unload, and that's great, and you won't need a cart in that instance. But more often than not, you are hand trucking this stuff from maybe a block or so away, and you do not want to have to carry every single box, all of the things that you have by hand to and from your booth. And so it's better to have a roller cart. And I love this cart by Rock and Roller for several reasons. First, it's expandable, so you can make it bigger or smaller as you need it. And it folds up really small. I carry everything for my art booth in my minivan, so I have to think about space when it comes to packing everything. So to have a cart that is lightweight and really folds up well is so amazing. And you can fold the Rock and Roller into a lot of different configurations depending on what you are hauling to and from the event. You're also going to need a good chair. Personally, I like bar height director's chairs rather than the lower type of chairs that you would use just as a lawn chair in your backyard. And here's why. If you're getting up out of that lower chair, it's going to really put a lot of pressure on your legs. You're doing this constantly, let's say 20 or 30 times a day, maybe more, depending on how much you're getting up to check out people or talk to people about your work. If you do that over time, you're going to have really sore leg muscles. So So it's much better to have something that's higher up, because you can just sit in the chair and then talk to people and you're at their eye level. So you don't always have to get up, but also when you do get up, you're using less of those leg muscles. And I love this particular chair I found on Amazon. It's amazing. It's more affordable than the older style director's chair I used to use. And it has a complete solid back, so I can put a little back pillow in there for lumbar support. I have a table stand next to me to set my drink or whatever else that I have, like my phone, anything that I want out there to be ready and available to me at the event. So it's super convenient and very affordable. I would highly suggest this chair. Now, these last 3 items are for 2D artists specifically. This means that if you are making paintings or drawings or something that you hang up on the walls to display at art fairs, these aren't really necessary for people who are sculptors or jewelers, something like that. But if you're a 2D artist, you're going to need walls to hang your work on. And there is something that I found that works really well. They're mesh tarps, and you can use bungee balls to attach them to the top of your booth and along the side poles. This will secure it on there. You can use drapery hooks to hang your art. And if you want to learn more about the sidewalls, check the description area. I have 2 videos down there. I even weight tested the cheaper sidewalls just to prove that they are really good and sturdy. So yeah, definitely check those out. But moving on, the next thing that you're going to need is a print bin. There are lots of different types of print bins available out there, but the cheapest ones work really well. They are the metal with canvas sling type. I've used those for the first 5, maybe 7 years that I was doing art fairs, but then eventually upgraded to the better Pro Panel kind. And if you'd like to learn more about the pro grade items that are available for your art booth, I have a list. You can get it in the description. It's absolutely free. It's my ultimate art fair supply list, and it has all of the different art booth setup ideas and things that I've tried, things that I've heard from other artists that work well in there. Next, you might want to learn where art fairs are near you. I've created this video. It's full of resources that are going to help you find the very best shows so that you can sell the most art. You can watch that here. All right, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.